After watching Lost River, I can say that people who have seen Only God Forgives and Enemy won't have the same reaction once they see this movie. What the feck? Lost River. So Lost River is the directorial debut of Ryan Gosling, and I was really looking forward to this film because I was like, oh, Ryan Gosling, he's writing and directing his first movie? Alright, I want to see what he's capable as a director. And then once I heard the first reviews of this movie, I was like, doesn't sound too good. Once I saw the trailer, the thing that worried me about this movie was that it felt like it was more style over substance. Unfortunately, Lost River, it's not a terrible movie, but it's bad. But before I get into the negatives, let me start talking about the positives of the movie. First off, the biggest compliment everyone's going to say about this movie is definitely the cinematography. Beautiful shots. Ryan Gosling, he just shows us how stylish he can be with his shots. Your eyes are just locked onto the screen because you're like, wow, that is beautiful. And the acting. From what the stars were given, the actors were given, they're really good. I mean, Christina Hendricks, she was really good in the movie, you know? She really showed a lot of emotion, and she was very powerful as the lead. As the two teens, Saoirse Ronan and this other guy, I forgot his name, those two were really good. They worked well off each other. I also really liked the soundtrack because there were some beats to it that were like sounding like it was a horror film. And there was also some uplifting beats, and I was like, okay, I like that mix between those two tones. But that's all I can really say about the positives. And let's start getting on to the negatives. The negatives about the movie is that it's very easy to say, oh, this movie's pretentious, it's style over substance. But unfortunately, that's what the movie is. See, after the movie finished, I was like, okay, what is Ryan trying to go for? What was he trying to go for? So I started watching a bunch of interviews of his, and I started going through the movie in my head. Okay, let's go through the scenes. What was he trying to show? So basically, he wanted to make a story about a family trying to survive, not necessarily in Detroit, but in this city where everything's just gone to shit. Everything, they gotta work their asses off just to even get some sort of a living. And the biggest thing that I took from Ryan Gosling's interviews was that he wanted to make this movie in a fairy tale story format. You know, Ryan Gosling said he didn't want to see the story happen from a political and economic standpoint. He wanted to go into the viewpoint of the two teens in this movie, the two main leads, and like he wanted to go from their point of view. Because when you watch the movie, those two teens are basically by themselves. They only have each other. Everyone else is gone. And the two teens come up with their own interpretation of why everything's like this and why everything's happening to them. The tone and the feel of the movie is from the teenager's point of view. Like throughout his interviews, I see when Ryan Gosling is talking about his movie, he is very confident and he knows what he's trying to do with his movie. And I like that he was confident enough to take the fairy tale aspect for this story. As much as I can praise Ryan Gosling for trying something different and using the fairy tale aspect for this story, it just didn't work. Ryan Gosling obviously had great ideas and great intentions while making this movie, but the problem was that it wasn't executed well enough. There are some underlining metaphors throughout the movie, yeah, but once you find them, see, the difference between like a movie like this and like a movie like Enemy is like when Enemy, the movie stood good on its own, it was still a great thriller, but once you start finding all the metaphors and underlying themes throughout the movie, it's like an added bonus. It's like, oh, this is so cool that I found more about this movie. It just adds more to the experience. While with Lost River, yeah, you find some underlying metaphors and underlying themes throughout the story. You're like, okay, I understand what Ryan was trying to go for. See, the problem with Lost River is just that it doesn't give us a compelling story to grasp on. It just rather gives us some really good visuals throughout the movie. Because even with the actors giving good performances for what they were given and great cinematography, that's not enough for a story that isn't compelling enough. So overall, Lost River has good acting from the actors. They did good what they were given. The cinematography is beautiful. It's magnificent to see on screen. The soundtrack was really well done too. But unfortunately, the story isn't compelling enough for you to even care about. Yeah, I understood what Ryan Gosling was going for. Maybe there might be some people out there who like the story and what Ryan Gosling was trying to go for. Some people might go for it. It's okay. Film is subjective, but for me, it just didn't work. I still see Ryan Gosling having a bright future as a film director. But unfortunately, as his directorial debut, how it stands, in my opinion, it's not that good. But it's not terrible. So I'm going to give Lost River a C-. There are some positives in the movie, but unfortunately, the movie rather goes for style over substance. And I know there's going to be people out saying this movie's pretentious. Yeah, whatever. I liked that Ryan Gosling had the balls to go for this fairy tale style format for this movie, but unfortunately the execution just wasn't good. So guys, that's my review for Lost River, and what do you guys think of the movie? Do you guys like it, or do you think the movie could have been better? Thank you guys so much for watching my video, and as always, ladies and gentlemen, have a nice day.